Okay. もっと大きく力強く、もっと優しく温かく、味わい深いスーパースターでありたい。はじける美味しさポーク&ビーフ、伊藤ハムのバイエルン。
バイエルン is a superstar. Yeah!
私は美味しいハムを届けます。
あなたに美味しい伊藤ハム。
私のプライド、伝承の味、伊藤ハムの贈り物。
もっと大きく力強く、もっと優しく温かく、味わい深いスーパースターでありたい。はじける美味しさポーク&ビーフ、伊藤ハムのバイエルン。
バイエルン It's a superstar. Yeah!
With something so unknown, your song fills the air.
強さも温かさもおふくろのスープからもらった。スープの美味しさを作ったクノールスープ。私は美味しいハムを贈ります。ハムの名品、伝承の味、伊藤ハムの贈り物。
伊藤ハム is 美味しい。
愛と勇気と缶ビール。
We can make dreams come true. Together.
キリン缶ビール。
バイエルン is superhero.
はじける美味しさ伊藤ハムのバイエルン。伊藤ハム2つのビッグチャンス。1、クイズに答えてスタローンと遊ぼう。2、美味しく食べて選んでプレゼント。
今年も贈ります。私のプライド、伝承の味。
美味しさありがとう。
伊藤ハムの贈り物。
With something so unknown, your song fills the air.
暖かくて丸くていろんなものが溶けている。クノールが20年目に作った新しいスープ、新発売。
Knorr, it's my taste.
伝承粗挽きはじける美味しさバイエルン。超ミニサイズポークビッツ。そして伊藤ハムのフライドチキン。
伊藤ハムからあなたへ。
世界のプロレスだ。
And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Alex G. And with me, in this evening, we got our pal Jeff and Matt.
Yep.
What's going on,
gentlemen? We might be getting joined by Michael if he can get his kid to sleep.
Okay.
Hashtag daddy sleeper hold.
So I added some more animated GIFs to the screen here. So
speaking of which, the upper center next to Mean Gene, that's Stacy Keebler.
It sure is.
Now, that reminds me of a video a friend of mine sends me. Every so often it comes out, and I think we've all seen it at least, but it's the Asian Japanese wrestling show where the guy is like making a woman gush into the audience.
Yes.
And a friend of mine, she sent me this. It's like, what wrestling company is this? And I was like, you didn't send it to your son, did you? She's like, no, but he shouldn't find this. I'm like, I don't think your son's going to find that in like most safe areas.
We also have Senior Lucha murdering someone on there, which is nice.
Oh, Senior Lucha. Oh, yeah, well. Oh, should have had my cash. Oh, man. So this is our random issue, right?
Yeah, this show's going to be full of shenanigans and tomfoolery.
Yeah, I have... I still need more names of wrestlers that are not that fast. Like, who's the slowest wrestler you can think of? Mabel?
Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Ooh. Anyone more current?
I don't watch current wrestling that much.
A slow wrestler current. Baron Corbin.
Oh, there you go. He's a slow wrestler.
Jimmy Snuka. He's dead.
Oh, that does slow him down.
Do you have a category for how boring a wrestler is? Because Baron Corbin would be a 5.
I'll tell you something. I feel bad. I heard him on an interview here locally in Boston, and he was really like a good interview. And one thing he talked about was how much he just hates the fans because he just wants to be left alone. He's like, when I'm done, I just want to go home. I don't want to be bothered. And he was so like the hosts are just jerks. He just gave it back to him. It was like nice, but yeah, he's a QT Marshall of WWE.
No, he's a guy. He's a guy that has no necessarily attachments to professional wrestling. I don't think he was a fan necessarily. You know what I mean? He's someone. He's like, I'm doing this for money, and that's fine. That's well and good, man. Hey, more power to you. But to expect anything else from him is going to be like he's not. If
you listen to Busted Open, they were talking about Baron Corbin on there last week and how what's the guy that was with him and now they're kind of like pumping him up.
Madcap Moss.
Yeah, Riddick Moss, and they were talking about him as Tommy Dream, or no, it was Mark Henry and Bubba Ray Dudley. And they were just gushing about how great Baron Corbin, how he's just like this. He's a superstar waiting to happen and all this stuff. And I'm listening to it, and I keep waiting for them to tell a punchline. Like they're joking around, but they're dead serious. They think this guy's like money, and I don't get it.
If he was money, he would already have been money.
Yeah, he bores the hell out of me.
I think he's. I always try to think of like, this is my LePage Turner mindset. Like when I was in NWL with LePage Turner, I used to always think like take anybody and like revamp their gimmick, like give them a repackaging. And he went from the lone wolf type look where he had the long hair and he shaved his head, and then he was just kind of like the same guy with a bald head. And then he went to the whole like casino thing where he lost money and he was broke and he was rich. And I think the problem is oftentimes I think the fans can just sense the disdain a certain performer has for them. That like they don't like. I'm trying to think of a good example, like someone who's maybe.
I would say Luger, but Luger got over.
Yeah.
Like Luger,
Luger was a fun bad guy. He was a really good.
He got it. He got it like towards the end.
I would argue that Lex Luger was never over.
Really?
Literally, the only time Lex Luger was ever over was in Florida. In like
what about in Baltimore when they did that Dusty finish and the crowd almost rioted when he supposedly beat Flair.
And they did every other night.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't. Back then they did it. They would do a Dusty finish at every Great American Bash throughout the whole summer.
It was rough.
It
was rough.
Lex Luger was not. He was never over. They did everything possible with Lex Luger. They teamed him with Sting. He wasn't over. How do you team with Sting and no one gives a shit about you? I mean, you're with Sting. You know, they put him in the NWO, no one cared. They put him in that stupid red NWO, no one cared.
I think
Tried to turn him into Hulk Hogan, and no one cared.
There was this moment in time where Lex Luger to me was the most interesting wrestler in wrestling. So there's this brief period right when the NWO starts, right, where Sting is a babyface and Luger's a heel, but they're still teaming up, and Luger's like cheating behind his back. It's the funniest shit in the planet. Because sometimes, you know, we all think we're the baby faces, and sometimes we may have friends that are heels. But he's still my friend.
I liked Luger as part of the Horsemen. I liked him when he was with Barry Windham. Yeah. I love that turn. I love that whole entire thing. But I'll say he kind of petered out for me, and I think it was because of
he could never win the big one.
Right, and what it was, I remember I got that pay-per-view where he had the whole blade job thing.
Yeah.
And my friends and I, we got together, watched it at my grandparents' house because their TV could get that cable station, whatever it was. So we're there, and my grandma was like, what is going on? So I'm trying to explain to her the whole show. And then she was like, why isn't he winning? It's like, this is wrestling! You know, but...
Interesting Luger point. Luger not winning the title at SummerSlam was the reason I stopped watching WWF for, like, until 1998.
Was that when he fought Yoko?
Yeah, and he won by count out. I officially went to WCW, and I got it, and that's like 93. So for like 5 years, I didn't watch like WWF regularly because I was so pissed off.
I feel like once he didn't win the big one, and then they had the whole thing. I will say he had some glimpses.
He never beat Flair. He never beat Flair for the belt.
Yeah. It was just I never understood that. It was like, give this guy the belt at some point. And you gave it to goddamn Ronnie Garvin.
Yeah.
But I think for me, there were some glimpses, like the Sting thing, but that was really fun and entertaining. I always loved the him coming out. Oh, the guys say I'm arrogant. I just got a lot of pride. Come on, Ricky, let's go home. He just clotheslines Ricky Steamboat and beats the shit out of him. And then Ricky Steamboat does something I never wish he never did, which was he begs off. He's like, please, no. It's like, Ricky, come on, man.
There could have been a moment where Luger could have been the guy in the Dangerous Alliance. Because they put him with Harley, and Harley was fine and good. But then you had Paul Lee.
That was the time.
And that Dangerous Alliance thing was hot. Like, I think it may have overshadowed Luger during his title run. Because that Dangerous Alliance got real hot real fast.
Yeah.
WCW from like from the time that Turner took over until the Mall of America Nitro. So like that whole like 5 or 6 year span there, to me, it doesn't exist. Like I don't remember anything that happened during that time period.
You know what's funny? That's like my favorite shit too. I love that shit.
When they were taping those shows, like 9 at a time out of that little studio at MGM Studios, like it just, to me, that was, I was a wrestling fanatic at that age, and when that came on, I turned it off. I would have watched Atlanta Braves baseball before I watched that.
Not for nothing. There's a brief moment in time. So there's the moment where Bischoff takes over until when Hogan gets there. That WCW was like the greatest wrestling on the planet because it was like the 90s version of the AWA. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. Like you have Flair on top and you have Flair and Steamboat. And then they had so much cool shit going on. The Hollywood Blondes were hot. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of really dope stuff. And then what happened in Cactus Jack and Vader and Rude's there. So it's like a 6-month, 8-month period. And then they throw it all the way when Hogan comes. And I was like, oh no, because like you had Dustin Rhodes, you had Rick Rude, you had Flair on top, like Steamboat, Austin, Pillman,
what was that guy?
Too Cold Scorpio.
Oh, wasn't the guy there Ranger Ross?
No, that was in '89. And PN News was already gone too by that point.
Oh,
PN News. I forgot all about PN News.
But like you literally had fucking Vader killing dudes.
Yeah.
Like he broke that one dude's back. He ended Nikita Koloff's career. Like legitimately,
really?
Yeah, he legitimately ended Nikita Koloff's career.
Oh, Nikita.
He's a youth pastor now.
Good for him.
I made the mistake of friending him early on in my Facebook days. I was like, oh, Nikita Koloff. And it was like, oh, Nikita Koloff. He's probably a star.
He goes around the country to like different churches. And
I think
stuff. Like,
he's more legitimate than say like maybe a Ted DiBiase. Isn't he going to jail? I think one of his kids is going to jail. They're all going to jail.
Yeah.
For like some sort of fraud.
Allegedly. Who's faster than Baron Corbin, but not that fast?
Randy Orton?
Yeah, that's a good one. He's faster, but how about who's not as fast as Ray Phoenix?
Everybody.
Yeah. Like who's
almost as fast as Ray
Who's
Phoenix?
A tier below him?
Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior. He ran to the ring pretty fast.
I hate him. Oh.
Tiger Mask is your answer, by the way.
I put Ray Phoenix up there with like who's the Japanese wrestler, the Great Suzuki or Sasaki or whatever.
Great Sasuke?
Sasuke used to wear the ninja outfit. Like him, and like Ray Phoenix to me is he's in my top 5 right now, like top 5 best wrestlers in the world. So
I have a picture of me and him somewhere.
I got a picture of me and Rey Mysterio with his mask off when he was like 16 years old.
Was that during the time where he was dating Jennifer Aniston?
I don't know. This was
Rey Mysterio was dating Jennifer Aniston.
According to the National Enquirer, he was.
This is when he was in WCW, and he
in the Filthy Animals.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing a mask. He wore those horns to the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a picture with him in a Denny's.
Do you think he's too good looking to wear a mask?
I mean,
yeah, he looked like a little kid. I mean, like if I was like the hostess, I would have gave him a kids menu. Get crayons to color on the placemat.
Ridiculous. I want to post that article with Jennifer Aniston and Rey Mysterio, like 30 seconds, so you guys can see it. I'm always afraid that I'm going to click on porn by accident. I'm not saying that's an overabundance of pornography on my computer, because there isn't, but it's still a concern.
You have a conservative amount.
I don't know. What would someone consider like you have way too much? You need to seek help.
You have to decide if it's professional, amateur, or homebrew.
All the above, I would assume.
A friend of mine asked me legitimately. She asked me about how to start an OnlyFans. Like, why would I know? She's like, you seem to know these things.
You seem like you'd be involved. We should have an OnlyFans and then just talk about IWA. Just to see what happens. Just to see what happens.
Doing that, and teams are being like, I have an OnlyFans account. And I never followed through with it. No.
What is OnlyFans? Is that porn?
It's porn like adjacent.
A private club you have to pay to like see their content.
So it could be anything. So it could be girls in lingerie or bathing suits, or dudes doing muscle pics, you know what I mean? Or like people who have feet fetish. It could be just pictures of feet. You don't know what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be pornography, but there is a lot on there.
Would people on there pay to watch me give lectures on 1940s French politics?
Probably.
Yeah, there's probably
essentially whatever you do. And it's funny because the friend of mine asked about it. She's buxom, and she was like, "Would I not show my face?" And I'm like, "Well,
no,
probably not. I mean, as long as you do what you're doing." She's like, so I was telling her, I'm like, you could probably talk about like going shopping at the store and give people a chance to like watch you. People like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Like there's people on there there's people on there that like you remember how like blogging was big for a while, and then video blogging was big. So there's the article from, I'm assuming, the National Enquirer. It's on the screen there for you guys. I gotta make it bigger.
Oh boy.
Because there's no one in the chat anyway. So
how do you think that happened? Like how like someone like, hey, Jennifer Aniston owes us a favor. You tell her to like come in for an article, or we're gonna put this up.
I don't know. I believe they met somewhere. Like I think there was like something pseudo legitimate, like or something, because apparently she was a wrestling fan.
What does it say? She doesn't care he's happily married.
Like there was like you know.
I thought of you, Alex, the other day. It was a TikTok, and it shows this guy, and it says living with a Latino wife, and he's like, "Have a nice day." She's like, "Fuck you!" screaming at him, and it's like it says the thing. She had a dream that I cheated on her.
That's legitimate. Number one. That's rough. Yeah,
what?
Stabbings are a concern.
I'd like to find this guy. What's the name of the writer? Jeffrey what? Put that back up there.
Jeffrey Roddak. That has to be that's a fake name.
It's got to be a fake name.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm gonna look him up.
There's probably two people that write the stuff there.
It's like was it Matt Brock?
Oh, Stanley Manor or Stately Wayne Manor.
Stanley Wayne Manor. Like those are all like fake people.
Oh.
He writes for Globe magazine now.
Okay.
The National Enquirer of today.
That's true.
That's why I do. I don't know. That's like the whole tabloid thing, which I think is like insane. Like it's because we all used to go to like we're at the supermarket with our mom or our dad or whatever, and you're sitting there, you're like in line looking at the candy bars, and you see like monkey with 3 heads. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Weekly World News was great for that,
and that's why I do the weekly. That's the inspiration for why I do the Weekly World News thing in my TT every cycle, because I find this ridiculous, and it's always like the same 4 headlines too, because I find it hilarious. But I just do that to hopefully pop somebody else and make someone else laugh, or most of the time I just make myself laugh.
I don't think anybody cares about us tonight.
Nah, I mean they'll catch us on the replay. They always do. Johnny B would be listening and probably regale us with some sort of tabloid tale.
Well, I wanted to actually ask Johnny B. He didn't answer it last time. What was the first pro wrestling show he went to? You figure they must have gone to a wrestling show, right?
Yeah.
Like Johnny B. They must have taken his kids to a wrestling
SummerSlam. Survivor Series '87 at the Richfield Coliseum.
That or a local independent show.
There's no indies in Ohio.
Ohio Valley Wrestling. It's right in the name.
It's not even Ohio. It's in Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. It was in Covington, Kentucky.
Oh.
Ohio's
it's right across the river from Cincinnati.
So Ohio is important because that's the reason. Not the reason, but that's the catalyst for the WWF leading the NWA, because Georgia Championship Wrestling was running Ohio. Vince Jr. goes in there, gets Ole Anderson all pissed off. Ole Anderson curses them out during the fucking NWA convention, and then they just walk out and leave. Is anyone interested? Everyone should read Death of the Territories, by the way. It's a great book. No one else can see that, Matt.
You can.
Oh, yeah.
Got your Hulk Hogan picture here?
Yeah.
I've actually gone through this night. I've not found the Wrestling World, Mr. Wrestling World announcements yet. But I ordered 2 more from 89, 88. We'll see.
So I did
find a letter from Frank Morano, though, and a letter from Dave Martin.
Okay.
And a few other players. So I'm going to actually take those letters and put them into I'm going to start doing a page in the IWAR Mag.
Yeah. That's
like a throwback page. And it'll just be, old ads, old whatever, but from the IWA days. And
I wonder if Johnny B has the original IWA ad, like the original, like what they submitted.
I might have it.
Okay.
Because I can't imagine it's too different from what they had set up.
I'm just trying to get any kind of IWA artifacts.
Well,
Like something like shit that's just in the office. Like, oh, this is a template that we used, or hey, this is like the first report ever. I'm trying to convince them to give me something.
I will say that when I was doing the BRL 30th year thing,
Yeah.
I really went at them looking for any kind of merchandise, any kind of memorabilia.
You got a pen in there.
And,
you got a PWI
like
T-shirts,
patches.
something.
They had clocks. Like I was like, I can't imagine like you didn't have like a clock like at the family houses like as like a fun like I'm a pack rat, so I have all kinds of like knickknacks and memorabilias. No, but I'm going to Indianapolis in 4 weeks' time.
I thought you weren't allowed to say to Massachusetts. What happened?
Oh, yeah. But
on a terror watch list again.
Again, yeah. No, I'm gonna stop in Ohio again. Make a little pit stop in Willowick.
You want to see if there's a Dairy Queen over there, or maybe an Orange Julius? Let's see. I want to look it up right now. Dairy Queen, because I don't think there's standalone Orange Julius's anymore. Dairy Queens, Ohio. We have a Dairy Queen around here. It came a couple years ago, but doesn't have it. They don't carry Orange Julius there.
We got a Dairy Queen, but they don't have food.
They just have ice cream?
Yeah, just ice cream. No food.
It's weird. What the hell's the point? Their burgers are not bad. I just wouldn't get it all the time. You know what I like? I like Mr. Beast burger. If you haven't had a Mr. Beast burger, I recommend that.
Mr. Who?
Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
No.
Okay. You probably should look that up first.
Well, first I'll ask this question.
Yeah.
Do you guys? I'm always baffled. These aren't more than a New England thing. Roast beef shops.
The fuck is that?
Like you go and get shaved roast beef on a sandwich. It's delicious. It's like hot roast beef.
We got we have those. It's called
and not Arby's.
No, it's called something else though. Pit beef.
Yeah, we have those all over this area. They're like a big Greek restaurant thing here. And there's one.
Listen, I've had enough roast beef in the 9th grade. Okay. Fucking girl had a huge vagina.
Oh boy.
It was an Audi. It was an.
Shush.
It was rough. No, you see what happened was like I had blocked that from my memory, and then when I was talking to Mike Drake, he kind of reminded me about that.
Oh, that reminds me. So Mike Drake was talking on the show about a couple of different things. And one of the things I want to talk about was he talked about how some reports have lots of fluff but not much content. And I think it's a balance as a commissioner you gotta find. Like I as a commissioner, I'm not pack rat, so I pack a lot of stuff in, and I've been trying to get better about like spreading it out and making it more visually appealing. But then I'll take like the BRL and BWL reports, and I just basically write a 1-page manuscript of Suplex doing stuff or Dick Jackson doing stuff. And I think as long as you can communicate what's going on in the league and kind of push storylines, then it's fine. But I think if you have a report that, like he was talking about like somebody, it was Pete or somebody's report.
It was Pete.
He was not happy with it.
He's being very disparaging.
But it's just like I in a sense like Pete puts a basically like
ton of effort, too much.
Like,
I think
it's a visual bukkake for the eyes. It's just bland.
But I think that's what he's going for, though.
And I get that's fine. But like the thing too is that like, what is the story you're trying to sell here? Like we used to do stuff like that with IWAR mag, and I cut it back because I wanted to make it more of like a one story per issue. Like because one of the players had said to me like, "Oh, I'd love to print it out and like hang it on the wall."
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, well, you know what? If I make that issue is like 6 different stories and your wrestler's one of them, that's not as big a deal as
I've done that. I've done that personally. Actually, I had stuff printed on photo paper. Like I said at the shutter, Shutterfly like a door.
Nerd. Is Baja Blast a good flavor?
Yeah, it tastes like cough syrup.
I'm also drinking a Mountain Dew, but I only do the Game Fuel, and this is a charged cherry burst. I buy them by the caseload.
Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of Mountain Dew, I got a PS5.
I think we're talking about loads here for a minute. So I was like, take it easy.
So Fortnite came to mind.
We tried that one time. Remember, Matt?
Yeah, I'm trying it again. My friends across country are like, oh, get PS5. So it kind of happened by accident.
This motherfucker buys a fucking PS5 to play Fortnite. You can pay that on an iPhone 7. Man, you can probably pay it on a prepaid phone.
Well, I'll be playing Fortnite with other stuff. But one of the things I realized is that, and Jeff and I were discussing this earlier, WWE killed their online support for 219.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can't share, you can't download. Done.
It's a goddamn shame.
So the bad news is going from PS4 to PS5 also means all of my characters that I created are in the old one.
Yep.
So I don't have them anymore. So I gotta get 22.
They exist.
There's a way to do that. So supposedly you can upload wrestlers you created in previous games. Now I don't know about from one game system to another though. So like if you went from PS4 to PS5, I don't know if you can do that.
It told me I could download my PS4 content onto my PS5, so I did that. And when I did that, it had the stills that I took, but it didn't have the actual. Like when I went into the game, they weren't there. So, I mean, it's fine. I have oodles of images, so I can just start again and. You know, when I have my heart surgery, I'll be out of work for like 3 months. So,
Are you going to get an arc reactor?
Yeah, just give me a little repulsor blast to shoot. Sir, that's urine. It's still repulsing you.
Wow, sure is. But yeah, back to reports with a lot of fluff. Yeah, that's one thing that. You know, I think we always talk about is like about, you know, especially newer commissions that you gotta pace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta pace yourself. Like you're not gonna set the world on fire like in one cycle. So just have those, you know, expectations.
We've talked about that before too. How like, you know, players need to give themselves like a year
At
and
least.
really just to establish your league. And you know, as much as like, you know, it's happened for a while. Like it would be like this kind of like a tornado of players would show up at one league and they'd have like 100 cards for 3 or 4 cycles, and then they'd just be like, ugh.
Usually because we made them mad historically.
Yeah, right. That was my favorite thing. Like, let's pick a league and like mess with them and get numbers up.
Fuck TDL. Yeah, fuck TDL, and it'd be like 900 wrestlers get flooded into that league.
Yeah, and then it would be like 3 months later, like this is a waste. They don't give a shit. Like we don't.
Yeah, don't care.
But it comes down to, you know, building your base. You know, I was doing the number count. We're like at 38 managers in the BRL, and I think it's 29. I'll tell you right now. Sorry, 27 IWL, 37 BRL. And this is unofficial. Mm-hmm. And I have 32 in the NWL, and that's probably a little high because I haven't taken out some of the guys that went inactive. But still, that's very strong. Now, what I didn't do is I have like it says 96 across the IWAR. Mm-hmm. What I haven't done is figured out like, you know, like one player like Alex is in, you know, IWL only. So IWL, fine. But like I'm in both BRL and IWL, so I shouldn't double count that. You know, just trying to figure what our IWAR number is. But I'd say we're probably in the 70s.
That's fair.
Maybe more. And that's 70 individual players. So if you say, well, they're playing, you know, $12 a piece, 70 times 12, you know, that adds up.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and yeah, because I try to figure out numbers sometimes. I have a question here I wrote down. We had asked Mike Cook earlier how many strats do you need to hit a 501? Like numerically, how many do you need? And he responded, so I could actually read that if you want.
Go for
it. Mike is the number guru. So he wrote, it varies from Fed to Fed. When 90 is at 44 or 43 and 25 is at 29 or 28. With me so far?
Yeah.
All right. Feds can go pretty low. This cycle, gold has 134 options. Diamond has 104 options. Bronze has 128 options. And jade has 120 options. Now, those numbers will go down as, like, you know, steel rolls out and gold rolls out. So those numbers will go down. So as we see steel, gold, etc., those will continue to drop. The last 2 Feds in a cycle like this can get extremely low to a point where you don't even need to limit the full limit of 50 to guarantee 501. I've seen it as low as 24 options in Jade. Well, it's Mike's seen this. If the goal is just a 501, you can also just play something like a 29-28 in every Fed, knowing it will eventually hit. Some people do that with double drops like 27s, and while it doesn't hit every cycle, it takes just 8 or 16 a Fed. The plan would get you either 12 or 14 501s a year and would require 48 to 96 wrestlers. There it is, folks.
So if you want to buy a 501, you can.
You can. And I don't want to talk out of school, but Mike and I were talking about a player in the game, and I won't give too many details to give away, but like
we know
a player who was flooding like crazy, and it made even them uncomfortable. Like the big roster players, like, it's like, and yeah. But I mean, it's a thing that it's a known commodity. I think the biggest thing in the game when it comes to like the IWA, because people say like, some people are like, it's completely lottery and it's completely chance, whatever. I always say if the lottery, like if I play a Powerball ticket today, right, and I know that next time it plays on Saturday night, that the numbers that popped up tonight won't pop up, then I can have a strategic advantage.
Right.
But that's not the case.
Right.
So that's a little bit different. That's the biggest difference between a lottery and the IWA. There's a little bit more.
There's some strategy involved. A
little bit, yeah. I mean, and it's true, but like, ultimately, if you throw enough numbers at the wall, you're going to hit eventually. Yeah. And that's why I talk about like the importance of placing the 9 and 10 when it comes to your back 5 or your back 7 holds, if you will. So, anyways, that was Mike's recap. We'll probably talk about it on the show Friday night.
Yeah, because it's like, to guarantee yourself a 501, you don't have to spend whatever that amount is, but you at least get your 501. That could get you a league title in just about any league. So, but you have to spend a lot of money to get it. So,
no, and I've asked that away before, like what like an average player spends, and they won't really talk about those kind of numbers. It's kind of proprietary, and that's fine,
of course.
But if I had to ballpark it, I know there are players that spend hundreds, and what happens like in a bigger picture part of the game, if you will. The stable race drives the out-of-wage numbers a lot because the stable races, people don't know if you're new to the game. A stable race, they have all these different stables across the IWA, and players are in every federation, and they're competing for report hits. So to make the IWA report and win like a national title or IWA regional or tag or whatever, and those points go towards a stable, and there are guys, that will go all out. So from like January to like April, it's like 3 months in a row of like spending big money to try to hit those reports. But then what ends up happening is you start getting some separation between the ones that are really winning and the ones that are not. And then guys are like, F this, and they quit, or they'll cut back. And they'll play, but they won't really do as much. And fun behind the scenes thing. Mike Cook and I worked on a thing. And I brought this to him a couple of years ago, and we kind of like, it was a good idea, but we don't think anyone would buy it. And my idea was to totally revamp the stable race and to make it like a live draft, like what we do with the IWAR draft players. And you'd have like 8 captains, and you'd have, let's say, 50 players. And those players get drafted to these teams, and you'd just have 8 different stables that would be for like the draft. And you'd have a 6 or 7 cycle run. And you could set it up so you'd have like, head-to-heads, and you could do it. And I think the way you keep it competitive is what we used to do in my fantasy leagues, whereas instead of having an overall prize at the end of the year, you put a prize every week on the highest scorer. So you always have a chance to try to get that $150 by hitting the high score. It made people who were like in last place. It doesn't matter. You're just playing for the score. And what we're doing in the BWL in either maybe the fall or winter, depending, once you get about 25 or 30 solid players, we're going to do kind of a test run of this very idea in the BWL. And if it works really well, then we want to propose it to the IWA as like an IWA-wide event. And we'd run it as we'd be like the designers, whatever. I probably wouldn't compete because I suck. So
we're not good.
No,
we're not good.
I was joking, Mike. I'm like, I've been getting better just listening to Mike and the advice he gives. I've been telling people, like, watch the shows. Alex, I don't know if you watch the shows or not, but if you watch them, like, they probably have some blood pour out of your ear. But in between those moments, you'd be like, oh, that makes sense.
That shit makes my penis soft.
Right. but really, like I was saying earlier about the 7 holds thing, like if you can narrow it down to like, here's your most important parts of the game, and go from there. But anyways, I think it'd be a really fun game. That I might take part in it. It was fun, but it'd be like putting these teams together. You'd have people like, can you imagine how crazy our IWAR show would be if we did a live IWA draft?
Yeah.
With with 8 people on, like be the captains that declare it, like running this draft. It'd be insane. It would probably make the game a bigger success.
You mean IWA wide?
IWA wide. Yeah. It would be a thing where you'd have because the way I had it broken out in my head was like each federation would be like a field, all right. So you'd have but each stable would have so many wrestlers in every fed, and you would have like head-to-head games. But the idea is more like you're trying to score points. So you'd have like ways of like going head-to-head score. You'd have tag score, 6-man score, report performance. Like Mike has all these numbers, and it's like he's like a machine when it comes to statistics, and it would be a fun way to like kind of pair people up that might not ever work together, and a lot of like the stables, I give stables grief sometimes, but like SOS does a lot of work to help players get better. Like Darren's gotten better, John's gotten better, Vickers, these guys come along and they help these guys learn the game, and like we do what we can to help. But these stables like go out and they talk and they actually work with them to like build their strategies for 6-mans. I know in NWL this cycle, Aaron's got that thing coming out that Darren put together for like trios. Or help, I don't know. He can talk more about that in the show. But it's a way to help players kind of look at the bigger picture. And I know in NWL it's tough because you're sitting there trying to just learn the game. You're trying to do well at singles. That's why the runs we've had so much recently, where we had these really great runs by these guys like Nick Dane and Rod Camino and Dave Wasilewski and who's the other one that did really Father Conrad. Like banging out these big scores. It's good to see that, but we also want to have it be more than just like a flash in the pan. We want to have you get better. I was writing back to the guy who runs Ryoto Onryo, how do you say it? And I was telling him I like kind of threw the stats he had so far at, and he has a 496, 494, 492. So I said, you're trending down. I said, but to me it also means you're probably going to pop back up. That just as you tend to do. But I was saying I know you're not big on social media, but if you want to check out one of our Tubecasts about the strategy, it really will help get you a better idea what you're looking to do. Because I've always felt my ultimate goal would be for NWL guys to like be all over the report, and players just be like, "Who the hell are these guys?" And sometimes we've had that. Like the last cycle, Nick Dane won all those belts. So hopefully it'll keep going.
It's happened a lot. I mean, we've had, just off the top of my head, at least 6 or 7 big report hits out of the NWL. We had Scumbag did the Rookie Brawl and King of the Ring.
King of the Ring, yeah.
You had Nick Dane, who won just about everything. You had Wasilewski, who took a couple, and didn't Camino take home like Rookie Brawl a few times?
They did. The Rookie Brawl is one that it's going to be somebody winning it out of there as an attention type thing. But when they win things like Metro or American or Elite, that's like Elite's. Like, I don't think we think about how Elite is really a really big deal, because Elite is essentially the small roster world championship.
Yeah.
Because every league with a roster of 10 or less as a limit competes for that belt. So like Metro, you're just the top 6 competitive leagues, which you could have those leagues be like one of them is going to be the NWL every time.
Yeah.
So essentially, BRL, NWL, IWL are always going to be in there, and then you're going to have EPW or whatever the flavor of the month is, and then maybe NAL. It kind of varies, but that's not that's a big thing to win. Metro, it's still important, but Elite's a big deal. You're competing against a lot of people to win that belt, and you get a belt for it. I actually banked my belt. I might actually give away as a prize for something. We're seeing. A quick little side note: I got to send another trophy to Jack Ferdinand.
Ridiculous.
I told him, like, dude, you've won, so you've got 2 trophies for me. You're gonna have a belt for me. Man, I said you should definitely get a picture at a bar somewhere, like wearing that stuff out. I'll go over. was I going to say? Hey, mine's a sieve. I want to thank everybody tuning in tonight.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, we'll get some people will listen, like Alex said, on the replay.
On the replay.
You know,
On the replay.
The syndicated show.
Oh, that reminds me. If you're listening right now and you have not yet taken a second to go to the right lower portion of the screen and click subscribe, please do so. So instead of me having to remind you that this has come out, you'll get an update saying
You'll get a notification. You can also join and become an IWAR for 99 cents. Super chats are always live, by the way.
I was thinking about what we should do. We should do an event that takes everybody who enters and joins and becomes an iWarrior, and we'll put them in a contest.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That way, there's always a chance you might win free matches or something like that.
I was thinking about doing a telethon, like Jerry Lewis.
like the PBS.
And we Tubecast for 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
Get Jerry Lewis in here.
Wah.
Oh.
Hey, I have to say, everything I've done in the IWA since I returned a year, it'll be a year. It's actually a year right now. This was my first. Well, summer was my first cycle last year.
Okay.
I think it was July though. I can't remember. It was a different. I think it was a different order last year, right?
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah. Out of everything I've done in the IWA since I returned, I'm most proud of getting my BWL wrestler on the report this cycle.
That was pretty cool.
I think it's. I like that because I was on the fence about it. The BWL. I mean I enjoy it, and I like the parameters of it. But bringing a new wrestler into there with all those heavy hitters,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of big time, long time veteran wrestlers in that league. So it shows that you can come into BWL with a rookie and you can do well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think a lot of other people kind of felt the same way, that maybe they'd get just clobbered coming in there with one wrestler against I mean, you got every top notch IWAR manager has a wrestler in there. So but it's turned into a real super competitive league, and it's fun, and right now it's what I look forward to the most every cycle.
Well, hopefully keep it going. I mean, we're building up to our first pay-per-view, and or hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun for players, because I think we're going to have enough things going on to keep people in the mix. And my hope is that we have enough belts to keep people kind of in the mix, but also enough things going on feud-wise. People are interested. There's a lot of good characters in there, so that's gonna be nice to kind of see those rolling out. Wanted to mention real quickly. Remember the Continental Wrestling League? There was Canadian Wrestling League, and it was Championship Wrestling League, and then it was what was it? We had a what did we call it? I forget what we called it.
I don't remember.
Well, it became Centennial League, and now it's called the Celestial Wrestling League. So I don't know who's commissioning there.
Okay. I wish them luck.
You what?
I wish them luck.
You wish them...
Well, anyone that takes on any kind of league, it's a tough road to hoe.
Speaking of hoes, I'm looking at the ASL. Oh.
It's a rough one. It's a rough one. It's on life support.
I know what I wanted to you want to know. I can say it in front of the show if you want.
No.
But I have somewhere in here. Let me find it. Well, I do have I have years of letters from Frank Snow from back when I was a kid.
Was that fan mail?
No, we used to write letters back and forth, because back before email, that's what you did. Let me find. I have a list here.
Frank Leatherman Snow was in my league when I first joined the IWA in 1988.
Good Lord. Wow. Oh, well, here's
I was actually in the stable.
That's the old IWA bulletins just come mailed like that. I'm showing it's Logan Tiger Mane Blue is the wrestler's name. And then this one had Raven Black the Indian, which was a ASL superstar wrestler for many years.
We need to get those names, Matt. You need to get those names on a piece of paper so we can properly celebrate these folks.
Yeah. And then let me find it here. Oh my God. I have an old WWE Saturday, December 8th, 1990, Boston Garden. Main event, Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake. Big Boss Man versus Barbarian. Tugboat against Dino Bravo. How do we not riot? A 1 hour time limit, one fall match. Heart Foundation versus Power and Glory.
What month is this?
December 8th, 1990.
That sounds about right.
Boston Garden. The Rockers versus Demolition. Superfly, Jimmy Snuka versus the Warlord. And Dustin Rhodes versus Bob Bradley. Special interview with Brother Love with Jake Roberts.
Early Dustin Rhodes sighting, by the way.
Yeah.
They had a Brother Love segment at a house show?
Yeah.
But did they have the full set, or did he just do it in the ring?
I don't remember the full set. I think it was just in the ring.
Huh. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever been to a house show, at least in that era. I mean, I've been to like recent house shows where they had like mid TV, like, you know what I mean, like in the ring. I don't think I ever went to a house show where they had like a Piper's Pit or a Snake Pit or anything like that on it.
Any kind of pit in general?
Well, you know, any of the flower shop or the barber shop or any of that. You know, like I don't think I ever saw those at a house show.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been cool to see it, but hey, I got some. Here's a wrestling trivia question for you guys.
Uh-oh.
And I'm sure, isn't Alex? Aren't you like the guru of wrestling trivia?
I am not.
He is.
No.
Nerd.
So, two-part question. Part number one: who was the original Smash in Demolition? And part number two: why was he replaced?
Randy Colley.
Yeah.
That was Moondog Spot, and because motherfuckers recognized his ass.
Really?
Yeah, he was actually Moondog Rex.
Was it Rex?
He was
okay.
The one that had the beard, the white hair and the beard. Yeah, he was replaced. And for a bonus point, who was the original manager of Demolition?
Sir Oliver Humperdinck.
No. Johnny V.
You got it. But you're on it, man.
Luscious Johnny V, who went to military school with Vince McMahon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I don't dig that.
I'm trying to find inappropriate pictures of Trish Stratus, and I'm having a hard time.
She has not done a lot of inappropriate pictures. She's a good comedian girl.
I know. Ridiculous. Well, there's always Photoshop.
Maple syrup and snow.
There's always Photoshop.
Oh. I think you picked on everyone's like sleeping tonight. That's okay.
Well, it's a Wednesday evening, you know. No.
Any other IWAR specific or IWA specific stuff to talk about?
Well, I can say, we'll preview this next issue, but we're rolling out the IWAR draft, so that's going to be very big. I just got official confirmation.
The biggest thing we do.
Yeah, Father Arturo is going to be in it, so that's going to be good. That's 3 now.
So here's a question about the IWAR draft.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have the BWL.
Yes.
But the BWL really can't be in the draft because they would only be able to draft women wrestlers. They wouldn't be drafting against anybody.
Right. I was going to do that, and then I was like, we'll just leave them out. It's just trying to coerce everyone who's got a woman wrestler that's not in the BWL and not there already to come in. But yeah, I mean, I thought about it. I was like, it would suck to be the BWL commissioner. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what if there's no women in the draft?
Right.
You know, like, It would be like Erigophobia and Sinister Moon, and that's it.
Who was the
there's your
person
picks.
who draft like 90% women's wrestlers that one time?
Oh, Larry. in
That's
CWL.
Larry, yeah.
He drafted like I think 6 women to build a division up there, and I think literally one panned out.
Yeah.
That last year's draft, or the draft the year before that, whatever it was cursed. It really was. I was thinking about like, the number one draft pick's been a curse pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially for the IWL.
Do you have the draft order? Like, did we do trades last year or no?
I don't know if we did or not last year. I have to look at my
IWAR draft special draft stats.
We did it last year too. Scott was doing the drafting for the women's lethal lottery too.
Oh yes,
that was fun. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Hebrew Hammer, Lance Horowitz, number 1. BRL took the Grady's, the real number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the time when that happened, he had already kind of dropped off the face of the earth. Hebrew Hammer. Like from the time he was on the front of the IWAR magazine, I don't think he really did anything after that. And that was like right at the draft. Like he was drafted, he was on the front page right after that. And I think he disappeared pretty much
immediately.
Yeah. I emailed him twice and I said, hey, are you coming back? Oh yeah, I'm coming back. And then I sent another message like a few months later, like, oh, hey, is everything all right? Just making sure. Oh yeah, I'm coming back.
Well, maybe he'll come back again. Now, if he comes back,
he's the Jeff Hardy of IWA. Oh. No. Now,
if he comes back, is he property of the IWL?
Well, that would be up to Alex. I would say no. I mean,
no. I don't think so.
I mean, like we do have to figure out who's going to be our 2 representatives for the number 1 pick choice. Because last year we had Lucha versus Punk Rock Mike for the number 1 pick, and Punk Rock Mike tanked his worst score in 2 years.
Well, we can. It's going to be. I can tell you my representatives. Hold on. My representative.
Who was the second pick for the IWL?
The second pick, the industry.
So, how about IWL represented by Rod Camino, the de facto number 1 pick in the IWL, and the BRL represented by Rhett Grady, the de facto number 1 pick for the BRL.
I like that.
I dig it.
Rhett versus Rod for the number 1 pick. That'll be probably in August, I think. Get it all laid out.
I'm looking at the lay of the land right now, and I mean, if Honor Revolt goes as a stable, and he doesn't split them up as individuals, I mean.
Oh, but Honor Revolt already got drafted.
Oh, they did last year.
I drafted them last year. The BRL's draft was crazy. It was a good draft overall, but BRL got Grady's, Vertigo, Zydrate, Honor Revolt, Mick Ferrari, and Prophet, which failed out, and Frankie Scott bailed out. So, I mean, it was, IWL had Lance Horowitz, Camino, Dynasty, who's in the BRL now anyways, and not TTing. Cali Gunslinger.
Did he not even come?
No. He was out for a while. He was he's part of, I don't know if it's SOS or what stable he's part of, but he's been active in other parts of the game, and he just came back in the BRL. He's not TTing at all. Right. He's just active.
He dropped into the NWL chat the one day.
Did he?
Yeah, and just said hi, or just I think he said he's going to be coming back, or it was a few weeks ago. So right now, I mean, Mark Justice. Mark Justice got to be pretty high up there.
Let me look at this. Give this. Where is it? If I look up NWL real quick, just to kind of get a rough idea.
Death Row. I mean, Death Row's a knockout tag team. I mean, and I think both leagues could use a boost in the tag team division.
Yeah. Let's see. Mark Justice, I would say, yeah, Death Row. Yeah, it's still early for John Drake, but he could develop the Nationalist and his crew. Zanroar. I enjoy Zanroar. Harry Hurt, Dark Danger. Oliver Livingston.
Harry Hurt is actually done. This was his last cycle in the NWL.
Okay.
This past cycle. So I don't know. I had mentioned that to Aaron, and I think he might be going elsewhere. I think he's going to stay in the game, but he might go outside the IWAR.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But also you got my two dads. They're top line draft pick.
Yep.
You've got the. I don't know much about it. We got these Ronin guys. Ronin, stable. Yep. They don't do TT really, but they're active every cycle, and they're doing well. I mean, they're decently ranked. And of course we got like the newer guys that came in, like Ryoto, who I think is going to be I think Ryoto is going to end up, by the time the draft rolls around, he might be a number 1 pick candidate.
Yep. I can see that.
But I mean, we've got, it's shaping up that, it's going to be another strong draft. And we don't know.
There's also going to be guys that might make new wrestlers to like add the mix.
Yeah. That happens every once in a while.
And I was saying to Aaron the other night, or maybe I was talking to you guys both about it, that, drafting wise, you want to pull in players who aren't in your league already. It's like, if it's like let's say like if Aaron made a wrestler, I would probably wait for Alex to draft him, because that would give him a new guy in the league.
Yeah.
Versus me adding one more. He's already there, And
it's gotten difficult sometimes when we hit limits too.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful with limits too.
Yep.
Yeah, you might also you might see the scumbag Sterling, decide to jump into the draft.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, we'll see. He jumps into the draft. I mean, he might buy his way into another league. So, who knows?
Well, I think that's a big thing too. Is it's at least once every other draft, you get somebody who's a known player who's like, hey, I want to try the game. I want to get involved. Because when they see how much fun the draft is, people start to want to get involved with it. Yeah. No. Hopefully it'll be good. I mean, it's still, this is July, so 3 months away. So we do have time.
The draft is probably
draft wrestlers from the other leagues to come back to the NWL like NXT.
Yeah, like if they suck.
like who's the like who would be the Mandy Rose of the BRM or the what's his name? Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler. Oh. Yeah, who would get sent back down to the minors?
We got a couple. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah, I will. No, I think we're actually a good spot. Like we're getting really close to having a really well-rounded roster in the BRL.
Pretty solid for sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's some players who are, I always feel, players can come and go, drop of a hat.
Yeah.
I mean, we were building around Alexander J. Styles, and all of a sudden he had to leave the game.
Yeah.
And okay, work with it.
When he comes back, it's gonna be the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, it'll be out there. And then I'll have Sino just show up and steal his thunder. Oh.
What a dick.
Yeah, dick move, bro. One thing about the old IWAR ads I found.
Yeah.
Is also, let me see if I can get one here. Let's see if this one has one. Now this is like one of the older ads, right? from the show house here. You see like kind of the basics.
Yeah.
Very dry. No real artwork to speak of. It's just steel cage, feuds, sneak attacks, Texas death, battle royals, diarrhea. Wait, what? No, First blood. But then some of the magazines over time have. Let me find it here. Yeah. Yeah. You know how Darren took the time to do like those 10 wrestlers based on the 10 from the IWA, homepage?
Yeah.
There was actually 2 before those guys. One is Jake Steele, cowboy here, and the other is, I haven't found him yet, but he's in there somewhere. He's Bone Crusher.
Bone Crusher.
Bone Crusher. So he's like a Jason Voorhees, like humongous type.
Is it Crusher with a K?
No. They weren't that fancy back then. They were just like straight on Bone Crusher. What was my other question I had here? No, we got them. So that's fine. So there it is.
What do you think the worst name for an IWA wrestler has ever been?
Whoever put my name backwards. I didn't even. Scott noticed it, and he's like, "Is that your guy?" I'm like, "No, it was like Yeller Wedham." I'm like, some of these guys are just freaking like obsessed with me. It's like scary. It's like, dude, like one guy took his whole roster. I think it's still in gold. It's like one of those like dead leagues,
Yeah.
and his roster's all named after my wrestlers. Like they're like little, like Insane St. Luke was like Senior Fight, and Jim Spur was like Johnny Boot or something like that. It's just the names are all.
Is
bland.
that is the fake suplex still out there somewhere?
I don't think that guy's commissioning anymore.
Oh, different.
He would get so mad about that. He would like, "Oh, I made suplex." I'm like, dude's like from 30 years ago.
Did you start taking your event names too?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that. I made up that name.
Did you?
I was looking through the different bulletins earlier, and I noticed in one league there's someone that has a bunch of wrestlers named after dead ball era baseball players, like Trick Speaker and Nap Lajoie and Eddie Plank. They even got Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
Nice.
And what league is this in?
There's got to be. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was in Jade. I was just flipping through as we were talking. It's the Ninja League, the Ninja
Dojo League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
the guy. He did that.
That's one of the guys. Yeah.
Because he would write like an essay about baseball and just put it in there for no reason.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that. His commissioner report. We're not even kidding. Was like 6 pages about baseball. It made no sense at all. It was just like, welcome to like the what league was it?
Oh,
it wasn't.
Yeah, so Cocky Eddie Collins, Iron Horse Lou Gehrig, Big Train Walter Johnson, Sultan of SWAT Babe Ruth, Gettysburg, Eddie Plank, Frenchman Nap Lajoie.
If I had to guess, those are SOS guys.
Yeah, they're all SOS.
That's probably either. I don't think Mike's in the. I don't know, but it's. I can see that. There's also Performance Center trainer.
There's a lot of really. There's a bunch of them named after constitutional amendments.
Yeah,
there's
yeah, that's dickbag.
It looks like it's a league with like 4 owners that each have 100 wrestlers.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. They're just running. And again, the thing I think about too is like, this information is proprietary. These guys all know the same like stats, how it's breaking down. This is what your gut tells you. I'm looking at the Global Wrestling League, and that was the one where the guy had the baseball report.
Yeah.
And I don't think. Oh my God! There's kind of a report. Someone like cut out pages. It's weird, man. They literally took their bulletin and cut out like the champions page.
This was the league. This was the league that the player was going to take over as commissioner, but he had to go out because he had some life circumstances, and he had to leave the game for a little while. I'm not going to say his name, but he's in the NWL chat.
Okay.
Because I did some graphics for him for this league, and then his situation changed, and he had to step away for a little while. But he has plans to come back and commission this league.
Nice.
So, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully he'll come back. I will say this, and people need to think about this too when you're doing a commissioner report. You don't need to have – you can do a one-page report, and it still packs a punch. There's still things you can do. I think, like Alex talked about earlier, pacing yourself, not overdoing it. Because the last thing you want to do is, make the game a chore where you're like, ugh, now I got to do this. It's just you don't want to overwhelm yourself with work. And keep in mind the players should remember too that these people do commission reports out of a love for the game or enjoy the game, not because they want to listen to people complain and whine at them.
It's true. It's true.
I'm looking here. MML. I'm always amazed the league isn't closed yet. It's been on death's door forever. There's a lot of T-Bat guys in here. Oh yeah, here's one of the guys, Cowboy John Spurt.
Is that named after one of your guys?
Oh yeah, Senior Rick Spur. Yeah, cool stuff. Alan Crash. I enjoyed. I know who that player is, by the way, and I enjoyed the story Mike Drake told about him being he uses pictures of himself. He posts pictures online. I don't think he does anymore, but he posted pictures of a person online claiming it was him. And when he met him in real life, he was the guy's picture he posted was 6'5", super jacked dude. and in real life, he's 5'8" and tiny. And now they don't give a shit. He's tiny. It's who are you trying to impress? Anyone cares? Dude, just whatever. It's more ridiculous to pass yourself off as somebody else. Whatever. Oh well.
That's life, though.
That it is.
So there's wrestlers in this MML league called Puerto Rican number 1 and number 2, and they spelled Puerto Rico wrong.
That happens.
Yeah, that sounds about. That's on brand for a lot of these guys.
Got a lot of female wrestlers in this league, though.
Are there any Kardashians there?
No, there's Ariana Swabberry. There's Kimmy Kane.
I think I know who runs them.
I don't know, Lassa Fever. I don't know. That sounds like a woman's name, but who knows? But yeah, I don't see. I see. There's I like the Angry Beaver and the Mysterious Beaver.
Yes, I know who that player is. I know who that is.
Yeah, I really, like I said earlier, I think that the Superhero League in Jade, I really like the idea they're running with here. I think it's unique, and the report looks really unique, and you can tell that a lot of work goes into it. But there's no TT in this league.
Yeah.
And I know there's no TT in a lot of leagues, but for me, I don't really understand the point of the game without that part of it. Maybe that's just me, but that's the fun part.
Well, I talked before. The biggest difference in the game is that some guys play because they love wrestling and they want to create characters and all that stuff and do it through the game, and then there are guys that use the game to compete against other people. And that's how they so hold on, Alexa, stop.
God damn, Alexa.
That's probably fine. My Alexa just went off for no reason.
My sister-in-law had to shut her Alexa off. Yeah, my sister-in-law had to shut hers off because her daughter's name is Alexis. And every time that she would say Alexis, it would do something in her house. Now, me personally, I'm not going to have any self-aware robots in my house. It's just not. It's not something I'm into. Like now they got refrigerators that actually like record you when you talk and stuff like that. I don't need my refrigerator to do that. That's not something that is needed in my house. But I don't understand. Like some people have that Alexis thing that runs their entire house, like their security systems, their lights. Everything.
Yeah, I can see there's a danger when you get that much wired into it.
I did the lights. The lights are cool because I can change colors with the lights. So I'm gonna be like, Alexa, turn my lights green.
Are there cameras involved in this?
No.
Like, are there?
No.
Like I worry about like I don't really want Amazon to have I don't want Amazon hardwired into my home. I don't know. Maybe
what if Jeff wants to watch you?
Well, I'm not I mean, I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, but you have to wonder, like when I go to Home Depot and I'm looking at blacktop sealer, and I don't even look at it on my phone or anything, and then I come home and get online on my computer and there's freaking ads for blacktop sealer.
It's proximity. That's the big thing. It was proximity.
It's your phone most of the time.
I had a thing at work one day when I was talking about voiceovers with one of my coworkers, and we were just talking about voiceovers, and he brought it up again later. And when I got home, my phone was like tons of voiceover, voiceover in America. I'm like, what is going on? But I was like, whatever, I don't care. I'm boring. This guy Riley plays.
I don't know, dude. I get green lights.
Wrestling games.
I got green lights in right now. That's dope.
Do you really?
Yeah. So when it comes to Alexa, you can turn off the wake. You can change the wake word. So you don't have to. It doesn't have to be Alexa. It can be anything. You can be like butt munch. It's like, how can I help you? It can be anything. That's first and foremost. Number two, you can cut the mic. You can turn off the mic, and then you have to go over and press the button to turn it on. So if you want to talk to it, you can walk over and press it, and then talk to it. So those are two features that you have. The security I wouldn't run because I don't want my security to run via the internet at all.
Right. Yeah.
Like I would get a. I would do it to a hard drive and hardwire it into the hard drive, or I wouldn't even necessarily do a cloud, but I would hard drive it. And I would literally wire it to a hard drive so I can have those recordings. I'm also concerned about like the front door, but I would go biometrics instead. You put your thumbprint in the door, it'll open up. That's better than having Alexa. Hey, Alexa, open the door. That's I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I just got an update on my phone. It won't update right now. It's like not updating at all. It's like I downloaded it and it won't actually install. But one of the major updates in this system is a face recognition. I don't even have that on my phone. It's like, why do you have to have that?
I don't have that either because I have a Google Pixel, and my wife has it on hers, and it's annoying because she'll hand me the phone like, "Oh, can you do this for me on the phone?" And then I'll lock and I have to put in the code. Like on my Pixel, it's biometric, so I just use my thumbprint. I'm good to go.
Yeah, I was gonna get a phone, but then my friend bought me a PlayStation. I was like, oh. And he didn't buy it for me. Like, oh, pay me back. I'm like, well, gonna use that money to buy a phone, but okay.
Yeah.
So I got this update today from the school district that we live in, and so there's this new. It's an FBI database.
Yeah. That
they're saying that if you're a parent, like you have to have, like vaccination records and photos and stuff about your kids that you might need like on a whim that you don't have on you. You probably have it at home and you're safe or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a database where you can upload all this stuff. It's called FBI Kids, and it'll keep it all stored, almost like a cloud server of all this stuff for your kids.
Yeah.
Like birth certificates and stuff like that. See, I'm a type of person that's a hard no for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need the FBI to have that.
I agree.
So I feel the same way about Amazon. I don't need Amazon to know, what the temperature in my house is. It's just not necessary.
Oh, the Amazon thermostat. Actually, I would go with the Google thermostat. It's actually better than the Amazon thermostat.
Fuck them too.
The Google Nest is probably better. I had to learn when I was at work. I had to take trainings on all these. So so that's why I know there's you can change the wake word and you can cut the mic.
That the wake word's important. That's a big one. I think about it all the time. Like, one of his names.
But Jeff, you can change Alexa to Samuel L. Jackson if you like.
Can you make it James Earl Jones?
I don't. There was one a while back. I don't know if they got rid of it or not, but there was a James Earl Jones one.
Or Morgan Freeman. Like, if I could have Morgan Freeman read back to me my grocery list, I'd probably buy it.
There was the time he got milk and eggs, and tampons. What the hell? Oh,
that would be the way to do it.
That might be an impulse buy for me if they had that option. Oh boy. Well, it's about that time for me, fellas.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to hand myself.
All right.
So, this is fun.
Well, guys, thank you for showing up for the Tubecast today. Surprise.
There you go.
In addition to that, make sure you use our Amazon link. Speaking of Amazon, make sure you use our Amazon link so I can get a few shekels.
Nice.
Yeah, I got $10 for like 4 months worth of stuff 2 days ago. I was very excited. It was dope. So catch us on the next Tubecast. I guess we'll do it sometime next week, right? Maybe
Results show.
So
right.
Be on the lookout for that. So for Jeff, for Matt, I'm Alex G. Have a good night.